Godzilla 2014. Is this a good movie? Is the movie worth watching? Well, we're going to talk about it on this episode of Movie Breakdowns. We're also going to grade the movie as well. You guys stick around for that. And before I get started, if there's a review you want me to do, let me know. Please put in the comments below and I'll get to it as best I can. Also, Patreon/Zakka for $2 a month. Get the cut in front of everybody. Get your review out way before it goes on Facebook and YouTube on the Patreon. Now, let's go and get to today's episode of 2014's Godzilla. Now, what is this movie about? This movie is about two monsters who have come to life after years being dormant, and they're trying to find each other to pretty much mate. But while they're doing that, they're bringing destruction along the Pacific coast of the United States, which thus brings the attention of Godzilla, who is on his way to try to destroy the monsters, because the monsters are also just destroying the planet that he lives on. And to add to that, you have two characters, one played by Aaron Johnson Taylor, and the other one played by Bryan Cranston, who are trying to help the humans defeat the monsters, but the monsters are also about to be attacked by the military, so they're trying to get involved and stop all the destruction of everything, and they're just pretty much survival and existing while these two monsters are duking it out. That is pretty much the gist of Godzilla. That is what it is. That's exactly what it is. It is legit. Two monsters trying to get together and hook up. Godzilla is coming up to stop them because they're destroying the planet. The humans are trying to destroy all the monsters because, everybody's destructive. Everybody's destroying everything. Let's destroy everybody. And you have characters who you're following that, to be honest, you just don't give a care about. So, the things I like. Godzilla. I like Godzilla. I think he was designed really well in this movie, way better than the last time the Americans saw him with the 2000 Godzilla movie, the lizard-like monster, the iguana. Well, this is back to his original Japanese design, and it looked really, really good. I like the fact that Bryan Cranston is probably one of the best parts of this movie. Granted, he gets taken out within the first 30 minutes of the movie, which irks my soul, but he's the one thing that you actually attach to because he is working on this plant that they have hosting one of the monsters, and the monster will every once in a while send out a shockwave from his egg sac, wherever the case may be, or his hibernation sac, and it will send out shockwaves, and he loses his wife. So he wants to get back and figure out what's going on. He gets kicked away from the experiment, from the research facility. He gets kicked out, and he's pretty much trying to figure out what's happened and how to save his wife. And he brings in Aaron Johnson Taylor, who is his son, that you really don't care about. Elizabeth Olsen's also in this movie, which they're the family you're supposed to follow, but you don't care about them at all. Aaron Johnson Taylor, actually in this movie, he just doesn't add much in a sense. His character, not the actor. The actor's a good actor, but the character himself just doesn't add much for me. So for me, he's actually a negative to this movie. But the two positives to me is Godzilla and Aaron Johnson Taylor. Not Aaron Johnson, but Bryan Cranston. Those are two positives, and Bryan Cranston gets killed down, so the one emotional attachment you have to a character is gone. You don't get really attached to Aaron because your storyline is very simple. It's my father was so obsessed with this accident that happened in late 90s, early 2000s. I've been around him my whole time. We lost Mom. Mom's not coming back, but he's still obsessed with this. I have my own family. My father's cuckoo. And you could have had a son and father moment where they bonded. And the movie tried to do that for a moment. And then Bryan Cranston died, and Aaron's well, I guess I'm going to go back to war to try to stop the monsters. And then kind of find out he picks up another kid. He doesn't ever get a hold of his wife until late in the movie. The wife gives the kid off to somebody safe, and she, survives, and Aaron goes save her at the end of the movie. But you really don't really care about that stuff. You really care about is Godzilla versus the monsters. So the negatives in this movie I have, it's the main characters that we follow, the humans we follow, you just don't care about them. You really don't care. It's hard for you to get invested in them because every time you try to get invested to them, they're off doing something else. So you're all right, you're just not really following them as much. Yes, we're following Aaron Johnson Taylor, and he had to sit detonate this bomb. Well, his goal was to be the part to watch the bomb get detonated to destroy the monsters, and then realize Godzilla's actually helping the humans. So he's oh, we gotta stop this bomb from going off. So then he tries to stop the bomb. He successfully does it in the movie. But you really don't care about his storyline. Elizabeth Olsen, we don't care about them. They're only together within the first, 30 minutes of the movie as well, and then the rest of it, they're separating. He keeps trying to call her, hey, I'm alive. She calls him, but they miss, and she's terrified. But you really don't, when they reunite, you really don't get that moment. like, oh, okay, you know. And matter of fact, I'm trying to think that if he actually does talk to her in the movie. I kind of blanked out there because he just don't care about them. I'm trying to think, does he actually reunites with her, or he just contacts her and you see them both safe, you know they're safe. But yeah, they end the movie with them. That was just, the humans was a negative to me in this movie. Another thing I didn't like is the time frame. The movie is 2 hours and 3 minutes. And it doesn't need to be 2 hours and 3 minutes. It can be a 90-minute movie. You could have done this in 90 minutes. You could have done this, heck, an hour and 45 minutes. But 2 hours, is an extra 15, 20 minutes just seems to be too long for no reason. I understand y'all build the tension, but eh. And then also another thing about building tension. Every time you got to see Godzilla and you about to fight them, like, oh, here we go, here we go. They would cut away from the fight. You're like, what the heck? Until the very end, which you're like, oh, I don't really want to see that at the very end. We had a moment, like there's a moment where the monster shows up and like sees Godzilla. Godzilla steps up and he like roars at the monster. The monster like screams at him and then it just cuts. I'm like, what happened? The monster run away? Did he fly away? We didn't see it. We just saw a cut, and next thing you know, Godzilla's like in the ocean again. In the military, like assault. The Navy's like a side of him, and they're like swimming to a destination. And you're just like, what happened? Did the monster fly away? 'Cause we didn't see the monster fly away. The monster like screeched back, and Godzilla's like, or he does that little noise, and it just cuts away. And then you get another moment where they're like you see Godzilla again, and the people running into a shelter, and you see the Godzilla like start screaming, and they shut the door. You're like, okay, the point of tension is to add like, don't show us and then cut away. It's to be more of, you're right there, let it build up, and then like maybe Godzilla doesn't win the fight, maybe he loses the fight, or maybe the monster flies away. It shows that, and like, oh, we almost had the monster got away, and Godzilla just like scared him off, and then he finally fights with the end of the movie, which was a cool fight. Like he tail whips one of the monsters into the building and knocks out another one. It's actually a pretty decent fight for a movie. Like, it's really good. And then the ending of it just like cuts. And I was so shocked when I saw it. I was like, Godzilla's knocked out. He wakes, all the humans looking, is Godzilla dead? Godzilla dead? Godzilla gets up, kind of looks around, and then just goes back into the water, and the movie just cuts. And I was like, did I miss something? Why did the movie just cut off? Like, why did it drop like that? Like it literally went from like no music, no ambiance or anything like that. It just went right into the water and then they started playing the ending credit music, and I was like, is that the movie? Is that it? That's it? That's how we just ended? Yeah, so there's the dislikes I have in this movie. A lot more than I liked with this movie, and the movie's really dark too. That's another thing, it's dark. It's hard to see some things sometimes because of how dark it is. And I'm just like, well, who ideas make a dark movie? Like Pacific Rim is a very bright movie. You watch Pacific Rim, it's bright. You can see everything that's going on. Godzilla was dark and gritty. And it was just like, I don't think this is where you want to go for, not for this kind of movie. And then I watched Kong, Skull Island, and that movie's orange and bright. So it's almost like the contrast here, but the Godzilla movie was super dark, and I was like, not a fan of that. All right, let's go ahead and get into cast, actors, and details and whatnot. So, Godzilla came out in 2014. It's PG-13, 2 hours and 3 minutes long. The director is Garth Edwards. The writers are Ishiro Honda, Takeo Murata, and Shigeru Kayama. The budget for this movie at the time was $116 million, and it grossed worldwide $524 million. So it made its money back for this movie. The cast, you had Aaron Taylor Johnson. He was fine. He is fine in this movie. He's nothing like over top over anything like that. He is fine. Elizabeth Olsen, who played, by the way, Taryn played Ford Brody. Elizabeth Olsen played Ellie Brody. She was fine. They did a good job for the acting part they was put into the role to do. They did a good job. Bryan Cranston, who played Joe Brody, probably the best human in this movie. Great work from him. Good acting from him. I really enjoyed his character, his emotion he put into the movie as the character. Good job for him. Ken Watanabe, who played Dr. Ishiro, he was the, like, guy to give exposition and just really kind of keep eyes on another researcher. It was okay. It's good acting. Like, the actors did their job. They did their job. Like, nobody in this movie to me really stood out besides Bryan Cranston, and because maybe the emotional aspect the writing has set up for him, with him losing his wife, and then his son is not with him, and then his son comes back and all this stuff, and then it just falls off, and you get put with Aaron Taylor Johnson, who the writing for him wasn't that good, and you're just like, okay, sure. Any other thoughts? The music in this movie, it's okay. Like, nothing in this movie really stood out music-wise. The CGI in this movie, it's there. It's CGI 2014. That's all we can do a Godzilla movie. Like, it's not bad. It's pretty solid. Like, I was invested. Didn't take me out of the movie. The color scheme of the movie is just dark and gritty. And just, to me, it was, like, hard to see certain stuff. And the writing for the characters was like, I just didn't care about the characters other than the monsters. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. So, is this a Friday night movie? It's too slow to be a Friday night movie. The pacing of this movie is definitely slow to me. That's another thing. Pacing of this movie is slow. So it's not a Friday night movie. I wouldn't watch it with a group of people. And it's like, let's watch Godzilla, because nobody's going to be really that entertained. Maybe Godzilla versus Kong, but as of this one, not really. And grade time. I'm going to grade Godzilla from 2014. I'm going to give the movie a C-. It gets a 70% from me. The reason why, like I mentioned, the movie is dark and gritty. You don't really care about the humor and the humans so much in this movie. You don't really care about them. Like, the monsters cutaway scene just didn't do it for me, and every time you get to see Godzilla just cut away and like try to build tension, but didn't really work as well. The pacing of the movie didn't need to be 2 hours and 33 minutes long. The pacing of the movie just seemed slow and like it dragged out. And the best parts of this movie to me was Godzilla and Bryan Cranston. There we go. That's what I really enjoyed in this movie. So I'm giving this movie a C-. It gets a 70%. IMDb gives it a 6.4 out of 10. That is a D. And Rotten Tomatoes give this movie a 76%. That is a C from the critics. And the audience give this movie a 66%, which is also a D. So that's where I say that as far as Godzilla. I give it a 70%, a C-. If you guys seen Godzilla from 2014, what did you think? Please put in the comment section below on that. See you guys in the next episode of Movie Breakdowns. And keep being awesome. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate that. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If there's a review you want me to watch or do, let me know. Please put it in the comment section below this video. Also, you want to watch the last episode of Movie Breakdowns, it's right there. Just gotta click on it and you'll be able to watch it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Love y'all, and keep being awesome.